to our Camp Cretaceous review. We're gonna be checking out episode 7, which was filled with some sideline action and mostly suspense, or at least unpleasant anticipation, which is basically what suspense is. All the other friends are gathered together and they're all wondering why Darius is taking so long inside there with Kash. He should have come out by now and had the phone. When we last left off, Kash saw Darius making a phone call with his phone, and we knew Darius was in big trouble. So let me tell you, just looking at this kid, why he's smarter than that stupid scientist and half of the other protagonists in movies and TV shows. This is what you're supposed to do if you're caught in this situation. And I don't understand why other people don't know that. This is how to not be antagonistic in a situation where you could lose your life.
Start talking. Who are you?
I'm the luckiest guy alive! Another human! Finally, I'm saved!
Kash doesn't trust him so easy, but Darius is so smart because he basically plays as though he's an ally. He says that he was alone on Isla Nublar after the whole situation. He couldn't get evacuated. It was just him and his dad on the island, and he lost his dad. He later tells Kash how much he hates dinosaurs and they took everything from him. He knows that Kash doesn't care about the life of dinosaurs, so Darius pretends to be someone that Kash would like, so Kash could somehow like him. But I do like how in this episode and going forward, Kash does not trust Darius completely. He's not a total nincompoop like they write cartoon characters.
Nice try. Jurassic World tanked 6 months ago.
Has it really been that long? My dad and I were on vacation when that Indominus thing escaped. We hid in these caves for a while, so we missed the evacuation.
You see? That is how you get it done. Darius is smart. I don't understand why they write most of the characters to be perpetually stupid in situations like this. But thank goodness, even though Kash doesn't trust him, it's enough for Kash to not want to kill him immediately. Darius also had to explain the story about him destroying a warehouse of Brads by himself. Darius tells him, yeah, of course I did. There were these crazy ass robots that were trying to kill me. Kash is impressed by this. Kash also litters him with the question of how he got past certain things that Kash put in place. And one thing Kash mentions, how Darius got past them, which makes me think that might be the answer to my question as to why the raptors were camping outside that facility. It's possible Kash might have been keeping them there, unless they really just were hanging out there to try and get back at Kash, because then if that's the case, how would the raptors eat? How would they go to hunt? There's certain needs that those dinosaurs have that I don't think Kash would provide them. Anyway, like I said, Darius dodges the bullet for now. Kenji and Brook work together to try and take down the drones. When Brook almost falls, Kenji gets really scared and he's like, yeah, we're not doing that again. You gotta love how protective Kenji is of Brook. Actually caring about somebody else's well-being other than his own has helped him age tremendously in his maturity. And eventually they do take down the drones. But not before the showrunners make some segments of putting them next to each other. Like, goddamn, man, it's like every 5 seconds. It's kind of hilarious at this point.
Yes!
Really, Kenji? Kash is making the dinosaurs fight. Big Edie, who used to be Little Edie apparently, has the upper hand on the Kentrosaurus Pierce. Darius has to pretend that he's interested in seeing the dinosaurs fight, and he tells that to Kash. Because remember, he's trying to fool Kash into thinking that he is Kash's friend, or Kash wants to keep him around. Kash is not going to want to kill someone like Darius if the kid impresses him or agrees with him. Kash has a really big ego, so having someone like Darius around to tell him what he's doing is cool, reasserts his dominance, and feeds his narcissism. Even still, Darius is dying inside because he actually wants to help the dinosaurs while pretending to be a douchebag. So smartly, Darius tells Kash,
Who's won every fight? You either have a lot of them or a ton of dough.
Let me get this straight, right? So you're running a multi-billion-dollar organization, or at least you're responsible for half of it. Neither the boss nor anyone, and that never once crossed his mind. Why are all the adults in these programs so stupid? Like, none of them have the ability to think. You would think that people who well, you know what, it's true. Because I know half of my relatives and other adults in my life are clueless when it comes to money and saving. So I wouldn't be surprised. Plus, Kash is a genius, and there are usually situations where geniuses fall short. Except it's kind of hard to believe that somebody who makes robots and is mathematically inclined could miss something as huge as, well, I don't know, killing a dinosaur every fight costing millions upon billions of dollars. That part for me was very unbelievable. The show wants us to believe that Kash is like, you know what? You're right! And so he uses the drones to separate the dinosaurs. He puts the T-Rex to sleep, and Kash properly introduces himself to Darius. I can tell it's kind of cute because throughout the episodes, even though Cash is maniacal, he wants to like Darius. Like, he actually does like him, but then he'll be nice to Darius, and then he'll throw in one of these, yeah, right? But if you think about doing anything. And it's kind of comical because he's trying to still keep a level head because he doesn't want to trust this kid. After all, he doesn't know Darius. For all he knows, this can all be a ruse, and the kid is trying to use him to get away. He tells Darius, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do with you yet, so don't even try to think about escaping, or don't be annoying. If you're annoying, and if you try anything, I'll feed it to a dinosaur. It's really that easy. He was ready to kill May Turner, so I don't think this guy would have any qualms about getting rid of a kid. They walk up to the poor injured T-Rex. Darius also likes to taunt Cash, part of his game, by saying that, yeah, I was a badass on Isla Nublar, and I didn't have fancy sleeping gas stuff like your robots to knock those dinosaurs out for me. I do like these pictures that are to scale. Just look at that. The T-Rex is so beautiful. Looks like something from out of a sci-fi. You know what it kind of looks like? I don't know if they intended to do this, but check this out real quick. You got a sleeping T-Rex right here. A prehistoric animal. And then in the middle, you got the human beings. The present day animals. Ones who are helping this T-Rex at the moment to heal. And then you got the robots made by the humans to help the humans. It's almost as though we're seeing a timeline right in front of us of the prehistoric, the present, and the future. Don't know if anybody caught that. I just thought that was awesome. Cash says the dinosaurs are only here to fight for the entertainment of very high rollers. And what they're planning to do is going to make Jurassic World look like a cheap knockoff. Cash also explains why there are different terrains when Darius asks. I love how Darius talks, by the way. Darius is very smart, and this is exactly what you should do in a situation like this. I feel like this is a clip or behavior that would be discussed on Charisma on Command, because Darius also plays to this guy's personality. He reflects the personality of this guy. So if Cash even becomes a least bit suspicious, Darius is like, listen, dude, I just want to make sure you got this handled better than the fools on Nublar. Also playing to Cash's narcissism by letting him know or challenging him to prove that he is better than everybody else that failed, especially. Back in the cave and with the others, May is distressed. She feels bad for the dinosaurs. She feels bad for Big Edie and Pierce, especially because, well, she raised him. I also was wondering about the biomes because they're basically different Pokemon battlegrounds for the dinosaurs to fight in. That's why he was trying to see if Pierce could survive in the snow, to see if the dinosaurs could have a battle in the snow and it'd be worthwhile. While Cash is busy, Darius goes to Big Edie's medbay tray and apologizes. He thinks she's in there because he had to make a choice of saving her and Pierce or getting the phone and making a call to get his friends and he off the island. Meanwhile, Cash is on the phone with his boss, who I'm guessing at this point is Dr. Wu, because I mean, who else would it be? I do love and appreciate that at least they show blood on the dinosaurs. They don't show it on the humans for some weird reason, but they show it on the creatures, which is very realistic and lets us understand how hurt the dinosaurs are, how much pain they must be in. I was chopping vegetables yesterday, and I was wiping some of the carrots off of the blade, and it sliced straight through my paw. That cut was so seamless that you wouldn't see anything wrong until you squeeze my finger and watch it open up like a purse or a panini. And it hurt like shit for about 3 days. So imagine what it must feel like for this poor T-Rex to not only have all these wounds, bruises, but to have the Kentrosaurus bone broken off into one of the wounds that were already there. Ow! Darius tries to help by taking it out, and the T-Rex momentarily wakes up, sort of. Brooke and Kenji are running ahead of the group, and she's confused as to why everyone is looking to her for answers. Kenji tells her, reassuringly, that he can't be the heartthrob and the leader of the group, which means I guess he's the leader of the group now? I guess it makes sense because he's technically the oldest, because Darius was the leader before, and now Kenji is. Hey, dynamics change all the time realistically, so I guess there's that. Brooke still worries about making a bad call, and Kenji tells her, I'm sure you will, but you'll know how to handle and get out of it. To which she replies that's exactly what she wanted to hear. They will be putting these two together consistently so you can see the growing development, relatability, and the dynamic of their partnership and attraction. I suppose that felt very good to get out. If you don't know what that feels like, imagine having a splinter in your nail, like those horrible ones that get stuck right underneath your fingernail, and there's that pressure and that pain until you pull the splinter out, and then you're like, oh. I can imagine this is what this felt like for the poor T-Rex. We get an insight of what Cash is talking about with his boss, the dino battles, which he's trying to sell to them, So he was testing all that stuff on his own.
But if you'll listen, my idea could propel Manticore into the next stratosphere.
Unfortunately, Cash's boss doesn't want to hear anything about dino battles at the moment. And while he's losing it, Darius tries to sneakily find a way out. Right now, the group are trying to find a way to get in, and they're going through the desert, which Cash mentioned he was going to make a lot hotter, which is very extraordinary because he was able to make a desert biome that he can control the temperature for. He's able to make freaking biomes. What are these guys doing? What year are they living in? This next part is terrifying. Because as they're walking through the desert, the hue of the heat rising from the ground obstructs what they're seeing before them. The music and the way that this plays out is extremely well done.
What is that?
Yo, just the way it walked up, no big chilling music.
The
Spinosaurus ends up chasing them into a little canyon. It tries desperately to get in. Unfortunately, they're chased right into the saber-tooth's den. As the saber-tooth corners them and gets ready to leap into the air, a slow motion scene ensues where the Spinosaurus aegypticus bursts through the rock and knowing exactly where it is, very conveniently like, and grabs the saber-tooth through the rocky fortress and does God knows what with it. Probably chomps it up. But then I'm like, it still goes after the group. Why though? Were you not hungry? Are these dinosaurs amped up and specifically bloodthirsty animals that just go after everything for no reason? Why, when it got a big ass Smilodon, did it continue to go after the kids? This has to be the same Spinosaurus that was on Isla Nublar. We did get confirmation through the previous episodes through Maid that they did carry those T-Rexes from Isla Sorna. So they do take some of the dinosaurs from Isla Sorna to bring them to whatever island this is. So it's possible they could have gotten the Spinosaurus from Isla Sorna as well. The same Spinosaurus that made it its life work to go after every human in sight for no freaking reason. Probably just being hyper-territorial. Yo, this is freaking terrifying. It's like a tall freaking crocodile on stilts, and it bursts. It bursts through the rock. It's like, yeah, I just had a big ass saber-toothed tiger, but I'm feeling especially hungry tonight. I think I'll have you guys for dessert. Your flesh looks so succulent. I don't want fur and all that scratchy stuff going down my throat. Usually that's cathartic, but I feel like having some smooth, silky, slimy, rubbery, naked flesh to be one with my flesh. I want to feel your skin touching the inside of my throat hole as it slides down towards my stomach acids. Back at the facility, Darius is stroking Cash's ego. The friends all escape the Spinosaurus and get to the next feeding bay. Unfortunately, it went down before they got there. This was gonna be their way to Darius. But Brooke is like, let me just jump. And then she's totally fine. And everyone jumps after her, and they're all totally fine. Not like jumping from that height can't break your freaking legs or sprain your ankle or anything, especially when you can't see the bottom, because why not? Unless every single one of their bodies are made of just cartilage. Darius is still stuck with Cash, who's now looking for some chips. Not the food, the mechanical ones. The case of chips are to be tested inside dinosaurs. With Dr. May's research that Cash took, he can utilize it or modify it so that he can control dinosaurs.
They can understand what I'm saying? What's to stop me from making them do whatever I want?
Yeah, okay. Because this guy thinks that by dinosaurs listening to him that he'll be unstoppable. The guy who is a genius and can build robots that can annihilate big masses of flesh, do what he asked them to do, go on missions without him having to micromanage them, and being essentially the perfect soldier, thinks that he is going to be respected and it's going to be freaking amazing and lucrative or a huge power play for him to take dinosaurs who can be injured and die easily and make them do what he wants. I can understand if his angle was making some money off of this, but dude, you can create armies of robots that can kill people. And this is the bridge you want to stop at and drink. You know what? While Darius and Cash are about to go in the elevator, Darius sees his friends and quickly jumps out. Cash is like, really, bitch? You're gonna try and escape? I'm gonna stick my finger up your freaking nose and give you a COVID test? And how did the elevator doors not open? Is Darius that featherly light that he didn't touch the sensors or anything? Like, that doesn't make any sense. He sees his friends and so happy that they came to save him. And he told them what happened with the dinosaur fight and why he couldn't save the dinosaurs at that point in time, because he made a phone call, or at least tried to. They all want to rescue him, and they all agree that Cash cannot be allowed to do this with the dinosaurs, put chips in their heads and control them. Darius suggests to his friends that he stays with Cash to try and sabotage what Cash is doing. It helps being on the inside, and Cash does not know of his friend's existence. And Cash comes back down ready to wring Darius's neck. Darius holds up the chip and he's like, see, you dropped this. Meanwhile, his friends are still in the facility. This is very smart. And Darius is really a cool person and an awesome friend because he took the L for his friends. He took the loss in saying that he was all alone on the island or survived alone so that his friends would be free. Meanwhile, we get a scene at the end of Darius's big brother, knowing that he had heard his little brother on the phone. We see him packing his stuff and he's like, I'm gonna find you. As he closes the door, we see Mr. DNA from the first Jurassic Park movie. And that's episode 7. I really loved episode 7, although I feel like a lot of the dinosaur chase scenes or prehistoric animal chase scenes were thrown in there just for action. And it's so weird because the Smilodon and the Spinosaurus and those desert animals don't act like actual animals. But then I guess it would make for a very interesting chase scene. It just seems like these kids have perpetually bad luck and then perpetually good luck. This whole show plays like a video game, and each one of these episodes are a level that you have to pass. We discover that Cash is very stressed and angry, of course, as always, because his boss is sending some people a big statue over there. Cash worries because this is not a lot of time to get the dinos and biomes prepared, and they're coming in 6 days, which Darius overhears. Meanwhile, Darius's friends have been meeting with him to fill them in information that's happening with Cash. At nighttime, he comes out and meets them outside. Where are the raptors? Don't know.
I see you found your new babysitter.
Hello! Be connected!
This is very worrisome, because now this thing is going to be following Darius everywhere, which is the smartest thing, honestly, Cash has done. Cash ain't stupid. He's like, you know what? I can't watch you all the time, so it makes sense that I'm going to send someone after you, because he can't trust this kid. He doesn't know him from Adam. It makes sense that he would use one of his Iron Man robots to watch Darius, and he even displays to Darius how indestructible this robot is in comparison to the other ones. Darius isn't getting away easy this time, and he tries to tell them 6, meaning 6 days. And of course, because Darius is so smart, he explained himself away as to why he was up in the middle of the night on the top of the roof or outside is because he was bored and there's nothing to do. He asks Cash if he wants him to run some errands. Cash tells him to go clean up the feeding area, and he's like, if you try anything, the new improved Brad X, as he calls them, which are now in fast production and starting to take over the old models, will show Darius why that's a bad idea. Then they start talking about swapping up the Braddox that Darius has with another one that they can program. And that would be a way for them to communicate with Darius. May is amazed by this, and she's like, is there anything you can't do? Because, you know, Brooklyn can fix cars, hack robots, and all this other stuff that is just completely unbelievable. Because for her age, even if she had all the time in the world, to have that much skill would take her either being an alien from outer space or being a character with crippling back problems from all that plot armor she's carrying on her back.
Fixing sonars, robot reprogramming, and built and coded your own rocket.
It eventually came down. Or when you unboxed Detroit and designed your own model electric car.
Careful, kind of going into Mary Sue territory there. Brooke did explain later that, yeah, while she did achieve all those things, there were a lot of failures before they were successful. And it took a long time. Did it now? Now remember, Darius's friends have to sneak around because they don't want Cash knowing of their existence. So they plan to go into the facility where the Braddexes are being made, while also avoiding the Brads. She finds them. In the meantime, Darius keeps Cash's cool under wraps because he can die at any moment.
Aren't you at least gonna help? Of course.
When I saw that, I was half expecting it to, like, form its own opinion and stuff and become all lifelike and being like, yeah. Like, I thought this was gonna be like a Wall-E type episode thing going on. When Darius is picking up a head of one of the Brads, he accidentally ejects the sleeping gas canister that they use to put the dinosaurs to sleep. This will come in handy later. This is some scary shit right here, because Darius tries to get away from the sleeping gas, and the robot goes on all fours and chases after him. It grabs him and holds him up in the air, and he's like, what the frick are you doing, dude? Robot's just doing his job and says says he's breaching the perimeter. But the robot's so stupid because it's only been programmed with the directive not to have Darius go past the perimeter. Cash never programmed into it the possibilities and hypotheticals of there being situations that would put Darius in danger that required him to immediately leave the perimeter.
It was an old can of sleeping gas that you guys used to trank the dinosaurs. I didn't want to get knocked out.
The robot neutralizes the sleeping gas and continues to eagerly watch over Darius. This thing was clearly designed to look like a dinosaur, but it looks more like a cockroach missing one of its set of legs. Does it not look like a black cockroach to you?
Roaches! TBH, I've actually never done anything like this before.
Don't worry, you're gonna get it perfectly right. Everyone's putting a lot of pressure on Brooklyn because of how amazing and perfect she is. Honestly, it gets pretty annoying because it's very unrealistic, which I guess you can forgive because a lot of the stuff is. But part of making the characters relatable is making them down to earth. Their situations should be able to be outlandish at times, but the characters themselves usually remain pretty human and they make sense. Brooklyn at this point doesn't start to make sense. We see the raptors out there in the morning, and it looks as though they're being kept together by those drones making that square force field. So it is possible that the poor things were brought there to guard the area. While Cash is golfing, he says to the kid, "Yo, Darius, don't know if you're worth keeping around. So I'm gonna need you to inject one of those chippy things that I want to inject into the dinos, into one of the dinos. Guess which one he wants him to inject it in." Poor Darius. Keep hanging in there, Darius. You'll be alright. While Darius is fighting for his life, Brooklyn is getting frustrated, and she ends up blowing up on everyone, which I can't blame her for. They're all putting way too much pressure on her, which is very annoying. But Brooklyn, maybe they know something that you don't. And it's the fact that you can do anything. Remember how I said that, she took a lot of time with those other projects and they always failed before they were successes? Technically, she did take a long time with this too, but in the space of an hour, she's able to reprogram one of the robots that Cash put together, which I find highly incredulous. Darius is fighting for his life and the robot almost kills him because it does not understand the concept of danger and Darius trying to run away from it. So the robot is trying to fight him, saying that he's escaping the perimeter. Darius saves himself, momentarily getting rid of the robot since the Spinosaurus attacked it, and takes a conveniently placed Brad head that has a sleeping canister inside of it, lets it go, and hoping the Spinosaurus will walk into the cloud of sleeping gas. Brad X catches up and gives him the injector gun. Right at that moment, Brad X is like, "Wait, my bad, bro. You don't have to do this." Turns out, Brooklyn was able to reprogram the robot. Cause of course she was. Now, she can talk through the robot to Darius and he can talk through the robot to them. All of this is a success. And after she's done, Brooke thanks Kenji for all of his support. And this is where things get weird. Cause of course, this whole thing seems to be revolving around their relationship, so you can't pass by too long without filling that in.
Thanks, Kenji. It's really sweet.
Too bad you can't post unboxing of Brad when you get home. I bet your followers might like seeing the real you.
Look at Kenji's game though, like, he used to be, like, I don't know if he does this with like other crushes that he has, or he's learning it on the fly, like that whole thing trying to look all cool and stuff. He's picking it up as he goes along and got Brooklyn eating out the palm of his hand. I've seen this happen to every guy as they're growing up and when they get for girls for the first time. Like they suck at first and then as soon as they get game or they're introduced to it, now they know how to at least play and not be as cringe. It's possibly stuff that Kenji also picked up from his father. A lot of people that are socially awkward are usually introverts or people who don't learn from picking up cues from society or who are not well socialized. But not only is Kenji very socialized, very extroverted, his father the head of business, which means he's probably had a lot of women following him around. He probably also hung out with other guys who were also rich, where he could learn the trade or how to put the moves on someone. Maybe Brooklyn is the first person he actually really liked because they were stuck on an island where he had to grow up. He couldn't just woo people with his money and his fancy stuff anymore like we saw him trying to do at the beginning. He actually has to, I know it's crazy, right? Learn to like someone for them and have them like him for him. And since Brooklyn also comes from money, it's not like that really amazes her much. She's probably one of the only girls he's ever met that does not really care who his father is or that he's rich.
And if I don't get any likes, so be it.
Well, I like you.
Oh shit. Oh God. Oh God, please. Yo, I'm getting all these memories flooding back when I've been in this position. Like, her face is exactly my face when a guy would say that to me. Kenji reminds me of those dudes that tried to flirt. And you know, of course, you're freaking 13, 14, you don't know any better. And they come talking like that and you're like, oh my God. So like him, like, he talked to me? And like, seriously, I was probably worse than that. Because people would say one word to me and I'd like freaking melt into the ground. Especially if it was the popular guy. But then over time it got overrated because I realized that most of the popular guys out there were like supreme extroverts, full of themselves, egotistical, immature, and as hot as they were, they didn't make very good boyfriends. And we didn't have that much in common. So I understand where Brooklyn is coming from. From her point of view, I feel like I'm reliving that whole thing. And unlike me with those popular guys, she does have some in common with Kenji. They both come from money. They both understand that life. They both are full of themselves in some aspect and both have grown as a result on the island. But this scene right here, man, whoever wrote this, the showrunners, they know what they're doing. They've probably been through this as well.
And if I don't get any likes, so be it.
Well, I like you. I like it. The video, not you. Well, but you because you're in it, but the...
Yo, that's something I would do. Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. Oh my God, dude, the tension is freaking real, man. These people did a good job putting this together. I think everybody watching can relate to this. And honestly, I think this is more relatable because if Darius had been in this situation, I think he would have been flustered too, but Darius seems more logic and level-headed and to the point. So he would have just been like, yeah, I like you. And he would have come out and said it. Darius is more brave when it comes to that kind of stuff, I think. But Kenji is basically just the manifestation of what a lot of us are afraid of, being vulnerable. A message, because I've heard some people like ask for advice on this stuff, and I can tell you straight up, shoot your shot. And whether the girl says yes or no, be okay with that and go into it with the expectation that she may say yes or no. And if she says no, walk away. Seriously, walk away and say, okay, I respect that. Deuces. And then no validation. Don't keep it going. Don't keep on friend zoning yourself. Just dead her. Trust me, coming from a girl, it is better like that. Back at the facility, when Darius comes in, he says, yeah, I did it. Which he didn't. Cash says he's impressed, but then soon gets angry when he realizes that the chip isn't working.
What actually happened out there?
Mission completed as directed.
Don't know what happened with the robot, I think Brooklyn programmed it to say that, which is so freaking convenient. I like this element of Cash because you're really afraid of him. You're afraid of what he's gonna do. Because right now, the immediate danger is there that he could hurt Darius. And that's what the stake is. The stake is a dinosaur. It's Cash hurting Darius. Luckily for Darius, none of the chips that the other Brads put inside other dinosaurs worked. So something else must be the problem. It has to be because the dinosaurs' brains are too developed. So Cash decides that he's going to put the chips inside the poor little baby dinosaurs. And if their brains fry, then so be it, his words. And then you see a cute little baby dinosaur. Oh, I want to hold it and brush my teeth with it. Surely we cannot let this happen. Now the new mission of the game is for Darius and his friends to save the baby dinosaurs, which is gonna be rather tricky because I can imagine when they keep on doing stuff like this, Cash is gonna get wise and he's gonna wonder why all this stuff is happening. It's gonna start to look like he's being deliberately sabotaged. These 2 episodes were amazing. I love the ridiculous parts of it because you know what, I can forgive a lot of it because most of it is so amazing and you still want to see the development of the characters with each other, with their situations. And honestly, I'm wondering how they're gonna get out of here. I'm kind of hoping it'll be a lost situation where they'll just be perpetually stuck in there, like purgatory, and this is like a punishment for some unknown crime that they committed. But it's just adventure after adventure, as a means to get home. And honestly, it kind of reminds me of how I used to write my Land Before Time shows. At least they make the characters real and make you love them. I understand each of their personalities and their wants, weaknesses, and strengths perfectly. Sammy is impulsive, but the same impulsive nature is what also makes her fun and always wanting to be there for her friends no matter what. Yaz is protective and introverted and artsy. For her need to be nurturing and to want to see the best come out of everyone can make her overbearing. Ben likes learning to be self-sufficient, but can also be egotistical at times. Whenever he wants to learn something, he learns it, and doesn't fancy distractions from helping him to grow into the person that he wants to be. Darius is thirsty for knowledge, when it comes to the stuff that he likes. He also is all about justice and protecting those who don't have voices or who are innocent, no matter what the cost. Sometimes he can be a bit radical in this as well, but it's people like him that also help to change the world, even if they're not perfect. And Brooke and Kenji are cut kind of from the same cloth, where they were both vain and full of themselves, but when you strip all of that away, Kenji is brave and protective, knows how to have fun, but when it comes down to business, he's not afraid to speak his mind and do what needs to be done, always putting himself directly in danger to help those he loves. Brooke, on the other hand, is the same way, but also has a brain and personality for learning to be self-sufficient. She's very calculating towards success and showcasing her independence and ability to be resourceful. Absolutely love the show. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.